back. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken will leave Washington for another trip to Israel and Jordan later today. But a Hamas official is vowing that the terrorist organization will repeat its attacks on Israel until the country completely is destroyed. He claims Israel has, quote, no place on our land. Iran's foreign minister also warning the U.S. and Israel of, quote, harsh consequences if bombings on the Gaza Strip continue. Joining us right now is senior counselor to the Heritage Foundation president, James Carafano. James, great to have you this morning. Thanks very much. What do you think should be done here as we face these terrorists in Gaza and in Israel? And, of course, it is rippling throughout America with anti-Semitism.
Yeah, well, the real crisis right now for protecting U.S. forces and U.S. lives and our interests and our support of Israel is really in Syria and Iraq and these Iranian attack on U.S. bases. And the problem is, it's not that we don't have the military force there to send a strong message, but the problem is the administration's really focused on a minimalist response. Is what's the minimum things we can do to get the Iranians to back down? Remember, this part is really critical because the Iranians also on a second front of Hamas attacking from Lebanon. So first Biden waved his finger and he said, don't, and then they continued to do the attacks. And then we did a couple of perfunctory strikes, and then Iran keep doing this. And this will always fail because you're essentially giving the initiative to the Iranians. They can ramp these things up as much as they want, and then if things gets a little dangerous for them, they can stop. What we should be doing is escalation dominance. The administration should pound the Iranians in Syria in particular and send a really strong message, just like when Trump killed Soleimani, because then the Iranians knew we were serious and we cut it out. So this is the part where I'm really focused on, because it's the part where we actually could do something to really slow this thing down, and we're actually doing the opposite. We're letting it kind of spin out of control.
Yeah, Kayleigh, go ahead.
Yeah, James, I think it's important that you mentioned the Trump-Soleimani incident, because when President Trump ordered the strike on Soleimani, he didn't just order that strike. He also made it clear through our emissaries in Iran that there were a number of other Iranian officials on his hit list if Iran continued its proxy attacks on U.S. troops in the region. Why are we not seeing that same sort of force from the Biden administration?
Well, you have to remember, and you know me, I'm not political, but this is really Obama 3. And part of the reason why Biden has had such a disastrous foreign policy, it's the exact same foreign policy in many ways that we saw under Obama. It's the same people, it's the same playbook. Yeah. So the Iranians, the Russians, the Chinese, they knew what's coming. And it's this preference, really going back to Lyndon Johnson, to like, let's just try to get. Remember, look how much they've invested in trying to engage with Iran, and they don't want to blow that up. So their thing is let's do as little as possible to just get them to stop. But of course, all you're doing is enabling them because it makes them think you look weak. That's why the Russians went into Ukraine. It's why Hamas was unleashed on Israel, and I think it's why things are could blow up in the north, because we're not being tough at the front end.
Right, and it's also why China has been incredibly aggressive against the United States, because China too sees weakness. But now the U.S. is reportedly holding rare nuclear arms talks with China. This is happening Monday ahead of President Biden's summit with Xi Jinping later on in the month. Last month, the Pentagon reported that Beijing has stockpiled about 500 nuclear warheads this year alone. They've got plans to have over 1,000 by 2030, James. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, this is a really interesting story, and you'd love to be in the room, because it's very clear that this is a gimme from the Chinese to Biden. This is something we really wanted to. But it could, and I'm sure it's going to actually be a nothing burger. First of all, China's building a nuclear arsenal that's equivalent to Russia and the U.S. They're not going to stop, so it's not going to affect that. China does this a lot. They say, oh, yeah, we'll have talks, just like BRI. Hey, we'll give you a deal, but then nothing materializes. So the question is why are they doing this gimme for Biden? What did we sacrifice that? Because in the end, the Chinese are probably going to really deliver nothing for it. So I think the administration will spend it as a good news story, but I'm really skeptical it's going to affect anything.
Of course. It's just like the climate agenda, going to China to try to get them to stop polluting. They're the largest polluter in the world. They're creating all of the products to send cheaply all across the world. They're not going to stop that. Now China is sending 43 military jets and 7 warships near Taiwan. This happened yesterday. 37 of those jets reportedly crossing the median line. Taiwan's foreign ministry scrambling to deploy fighter jets and ships in response, James. Is China getting closer to going into Taiwan? What about all of this aggression around Taiwan?
Well, I think it could be any one of a couple of things, or it could be a combination of all of them. There are Taiwan elections coming up. The Chinese are trying to get the Taiwanese people to vote for a government that's more pro to Beijing by threatening them, so it could be that. It could be tied to taking advantage that the U.S. is distracted in Ukraine and in the Middle East and sending a message to the Taiwanese the Americans won't be there for you. It could be that. Or it could be, look, the Chinese, every time they go out and do this stuff, it's practice for a military that really hasn't fought a major war since they had a war with Vietnam in the 70s. And so for the Chinese, it could be a lot of things. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's going to be a war tomorrow.
Sean O'Hara.
You know, this meeting that's coming up to me is sort of, it feels like propagandish, if you will. So I think the Chinese would prefer to see Joe Biden reelected.
For sure. They wanted him elected from the start.
Right, versus somebody who actually would be strong. And so to me, it's like, you know, they're setting this up to give him a foreign policy, you know, story to tell. I've got together. I've sternly warned them, you know, and the Chinese will benefit from that if Biden benefits from that.
Yeah, I mean, they wanted him from day one. They hurled this COVID disease and then covered it up, James Carafano. And not only that, but this never comes up in any of these meetings. The cover-up of COVID, the intellectual property theft, the bullying of our ships and planes, you know, the fentanyl, all of this from China. And James, when Joe Biden has meetings with Xi Jinping, we don't have any evidence that any of these challenging questions actually come up.
Right. And actually, you know, Governor Newsom went and the U.S. government said when you talk to Xi Jinping, don't bring up human rights. So the Chinese would interpret that as you have told me that you have taken human rights off the table. Thank you very much. Right.